ESO.org/public/ESO1242A/zoomable. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 148.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. Welcome to episode 148. Thank you for being here. It really makes me feel so good to have you guys here, because if you are listening to this podcast, you love photography, which means we have something in common. And because of that, I know you would get this. I had to share it. I had to share this because I knew you guys would love this the same way I love it. I'm talking about the photograph, the image from the ESO telescope. Have you seen this? I'm talking about a 9 billion pixel image. If you haven't seen this, you've got to check this out. It boggles the mind. It's now February 5th, 2020. We're in a new month, which means we're going further into talking about light. But before we move forward, I would be remiss if I did not share this image with you so you can look at it and understand the power of light. We all associate nighttime with darkness until you go a little deeper and look closer. In many ways, this is just like photography. Many people think today photography is very easy until you go deeper and look closer. When it comes to light and understanding light, you need to look closer. Look at the details. Look at the shadows. I love light, but I can't love light without loving shadows. This month, we will be talking about love of shadows all month long. Actually, it's really the love of light and shadows. I'll be using the word love quite a bit this month. Yes, it is that time of year. Valentine's is right around the corner. And if you're not in love with photography, I hope you will be by the end of this month. But before we go further, I want to give you something that I hope you're really going to love. Now, if possible, go to this website on a computer. I want you to see this image on a big screen. Maybe it's a laptop. Maybe it's something bigger, like a desktop, or even an iPad. But I really want you to see this 9 billion pixel image. It is phenomenal, and I cannot stop looking at it. I've got the feeling you're going to feel the same way. Now, this image is 84 million stars. How in the world they were able to count 84 million stars, I have no idea. But when you look at this image and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in some more, you can't stop looking at it. The vastness of this image is incredible. It gives you a new perspective on space and light and shadow. So do me a favor. If you can, go to this website. Now, if you are out and about, come back to this podcast, play it again, and go to this website. The web address is eso.org/public/images/ESO1242A/zoomable. Let me repeat that. ESO.org/public/images/ESO1242A/zoomable. If you can, see this on the biggest screen you have available. When you first see the image, do nothing. Just take a good look at it. You're looking at 84 million stars. Now, zoom in just a little bit. Now stop. Take a good look. This is beautiful. Now zoom in some more. The closer you get, the more you see. It's the same way when you look at light and shadow. The closer you look, the more you see. And oftentimes, the more beautiful the image becomes when you see all the beauty, all the nuances of light and shadow. Maybe by now you can tell I love light. I mean, it really makes an image come to life. But so do the shadows. When you have an image with beautiful light and amazing shadows, just like this picture, you can't stop looking at it. I've had this picture open on my desktop for a week now, and I can't stop looking at it. It's infinite. It looks like the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And it really makes you see how small our world is. Okay, I digress. But I can't help myself. I've gotten lost in this one picture. We live in a time where we see billions of pictures in a year, and it's hard to make us stop. But look at this picture. 84 million stars. And it is absolutely beautiful. Years ago, there was a movie, a very powerful movie, shot by an amazing director. Now, this is an older movie. It's been out for quite a while. As a matter of fact, it was released back in 1994. But last week, I watched this movie again, and what stood out to me this time around was how beautifully this movie is lit and how it's shot all the way around. Throughout the entire movie is shot with a lot of backlight situations, a lot of heavy shadows, and beautiful light. The movie starts off in color and then transitions into black and white and stays in black and white for the majority of the movie. In going into black and white, you can really appreciate the light and the shadows and how well this movie is lit. Now, this is a movie by Steven Spielberg, an incredible director. But in this movie, he not only directed the movie, but got behind the camera and shot some of the angles. And you can tell because this is a masterpiece in terms of photography and cinematography. This is the art of cinema. The story, the way it's shot, the way it's lit, and the love of light, use of light, and the use of shadows. You see, in this movie, The shadows are just as important as the light. They work hand in hand. A lot of times when learning about light, we can get caught up in focusing on just the light and forget about the importance of the shadows. Today, I want to remind you to respect the shadows because your shadows can make your picture look beautiful if you are just aware of both your light and your shadows. Now, if you're wondering which Steven Spielberg movie I'm talking about Schindler's List. Yes, it's been out for a long time, but this movie deserves your attention once again. Now, it is a long movie. It's 3 hours. But I must say, when I watched this movie last week, it didn't feel like 3 hours. I was so taken with the cinematography, with the lighting, of course, with the story as well. This month, we're talking about light and shadows, the love of light and shadow. And if you are really serious about photography, I'd like for you to do me a favor. Watch or rewatch Schindler's List, a very powerful, powerful movie. If you've seen the movie before, go deeper. Turn the sound off and focus on the light and focus on the shadows. I have the feeling you won't be able to stop looking at how well this movie is shot and how it is lit. The first really beautiful lighting scene takes place as the main character is having dinner. Pay special attention during these scenes and stay with it for the entire movie. If you'd like to, dive in and start dissecting each scene. Go deep into this movie. I guarantee you, when you come out on the other side of watching this movie, you will be a better photographer because you're learning how to see. And not just see light, but see light and shadows. If you are not in love with this lighting, by the end of the movie, drop me a line and let me know why. Better yet, join me in our free Facebook group, Photography Lighting Ninjas. On Facebook this month, we will be having a discussion on the beauty and the merits of this movie. If you are in my high-end group, we'll be going much deeper. In my private group, we meet once a week. Enrollment in that course right now is currently closed. It will be opening in March. Stay tuned for more news on that as we get closer to enrollment opening up. It's funny how a powerful image can take your breath away, especially today, when we see so many images day in and day out. If you've never seen the movie Schindler's List, do yourself a favor and take a look at this movie. You can watch the movie today on Amazon Prime or even Netflix, I believe. If you love great photography, whether it's your hobby or it's your career, watch this movie. And when you get a free moment, do me a favor and look at this image. That website is eso.org/public/ESO1242A/zoomable. Once you are there, zoom in little by little, each time taking a deeper and closer look. If you're like me, you'll look at different parts of the image. Like I said, this picture has been on my desktop computer for almost a week, and I can't stop looking at it. I'd love to hear how you feel about it. I'd also love to hear how you feel about the lighting in the movie Schindler's List. All right, Photography Nation, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Master Your Lens podcast. This month, it's all about love. Love of light and love of shadows. Until next week, I'm photographer Matthew Jordan Smith, sharing the joy of photography. Always, always dream big. Bye for now.